Hello, Warhammers. Wanted to talk about all the stuff that I'm doing in Warhammer now. I'm so excited that my wife is playing Warhammer now. We've been playing the WarCry game, and was so enthusiastic about this new hobby that she bought this table here. See if I can show it to you. Yeah, I think you can see it now. There. So, plenty of room. There's a leaf in it. It's not quite 8 feet long, but I have an 8-foot long plastic table. So I got room for my tools. I got my little magnification light and a little LED light that it's on a gooseneck so I can shine it anywhere I want. I got a place to mount my phone so I can use my phone flashlight. Plenty of room for paint. I can bring my paint racks over here, play games on here. I got this little tripod-mounted stadium light that's rechargeable battery. So the reason that my wife is embracing this now is because I guess she felt sorry for me that I was working like in a recliner chair on my projects and stuff, and I needed a table. And also, she wants to do these kind of projects like painting and things with my granddaughter. So maybe you saw that there was a baby booster chair over there for my granddaughter to sit up at that table and be involved with us. And I'm loving my new journal app on the iPhone, and I'm using it to keep track of everything I want to tell you. Oh yeah, I'm so excited about my wife playing Warhammer now, and she was with me when I discovered it in Wales. Warhammer Fantasy at the time was probably about 2006, and so it makes sense that she would be involved in it now. I could never get her to play Magic the Gathering, and she did play the World of Warcraft trading card game a little bit before that, before I got involved with Magic the Gathering, but I could never get her involved with Magic. So I'm so excited I can actually get her involved with this. Okay, so I am creating a WarCry and Age of Sigmar narrative. So maybe you've seen some of those videos. I think there's about 4 chapters out right now. So the overarching story is that the Xandire's Truth Seekers are trying to recover an artifact of power from the realm of death. And this idea comes from the Crypt of Blood WarCry book. So I've just kind of expanded on it and had a reason for the Stormcast Eternals to be in the realm of death, and I'm having them travel through the 8 points and battling using the WarCry rules in order to get through that place and get to the portal where they can get to the realm of death. So I'm actually showing their travels as they go on. So that's something that I'm going to expand real much. There's going to be Slaves of Darkness involved, Iron Golem and Untamed Beasts. There's going to be Stormcast involved. There's going to be Nighthaunt involved. And there's going to be Soulblight Gravelords involved. And then I also have the Cruel Boys, which I could further expand it into maybe Gur or something like that, but I don't have any terrain yet, so maybe in the future. I'm really looking forward to painting the Cruel Boys. That's going to be a lot of fun. My idea for the new AOS release is Soulblight versus anyone except the Stormcast. I don't mind the Stormcast. I actually like them. but I already have enough points of them, so I would like to get Soul Blight Vampires for cheap, a bunch of models for a low price, and then something else that I don't have already other than the Stormcast. I have a special interest in the Soul Blight Gravelords for fantasy. So I want to play Warhammer Fantasy. That's actually what brought me into this hobby when I saw the vampire accounts. And I downloaded the PDF. It was easy. I just searched Warhammer vampire accounts and I scrolled down through about 6 different search results, and I found Warhammer, or I found Games Workshop, and boom, it was right there. I didn't have to search through a menu or anything. It was real easy, and it's a beautiful document for the vampire accounts. And I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos where people that have played the vampire accounts are talking about it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to probably do the same thing I'm doing, which is use a lot of the AOS models for it. And it looks like the rules are set up that way. Like it's mentioning the fell bats, and it's mentioning the dire wolves, and a lot of the other models that they have for Soul Blight Gravelords. So that's a great thing. So I get double bang for my buck on that. And I'm really looking into the Blood Queen set because of the fell bats and the dire wolves. And then you basically get the Blood Queen for free. So that's a really sweet thing. So maybe I'll get that set. So I have the Crimson Court, and I have 4 Blood Knights that I bought in a box. I'm not really that much into skeletons or zombies. They're okay, and if I could get them in a set, like the next release was like Soul Blight Gravelords versus something else, that would be great. I wouldn't mind getting the skeletons and the zombies cheap if I could get them for like, you know, $1 a model or $1.50 a model. I wouldn't mind getting those things, and then I would hold those in reserve, and I'm sure I could find something to do with them, even if my army doesn't end up involving that for Warhammer Fantasy. So I'm figuring out what I'm going to do as far as bases, maybe make round bases and then mount them to rectangular bases so I can use them for both. I'm not really sure. So any ideas, you can certainly tell me in the comments how I could do it for both. Or I could just have them magnetized and attached to the different bases that way. That might be a really good way to do it. All right, on to 40K. I want to continue my narrative on the Agra world that's near Ultramar that started with the First Strike set. So they have some starter sets that are actually not Kill Team, but are for getting you into 40K, and that's what this First Strike set was. So I made a couple videos where I did, maybe 3 videos, where I did different objectives for First Strike, and there's one more left to go. So I like the old Kill Team for Death Guard, so I'm thinking about maybe expanding. I don't know if that would be any good for 40K. A lot of times those Kill Teams are so specialized they don't work well for 40K. But what I like about the set is you get a variety of different stuff. I think there's 27 models in there, pretty cheap. I think you can get them about $2 a model. I think they're about $58 or whatever for that set right now on eBay. So that's a good price for those models. what I really like about them are the three big guys. I think maybe they're Chaos Demons of Nurgle or whatever. So you can certainly tell me if you have any experience what those are. I also want to build Necrons for the Nephilim Anomaly, Pariah Nexus, if you will. I was so inspired by the Warhammer TV animation that they created. So I have nuns with guns. I have the nuns from the Chalness set, Kill Team, and I also have a combat patrol. So I have some nuns, and I'm excited about that, including a Rhino tank, which I'm really excited to build. I have lots of Necrons from the Indomitus set, so I want to get those built. And then I want to build more terrain for the Planet of Paradise. So I'm going to look at like my Chalnath terrain. It's kind of like a Sector Imperialis rune, like a rune church. And I want to see if there's anything like that. I want to watch the video specifically for looking for that, like if there's any of that kind of runes in the video. I'm seeming to remember that there was, or whatever. I'd also like to try to pick up, because I like to pick up old terrain sets. I'm really into terrain. I'd like to pick up the old rare City of Death terrain set, and then also Sector Imperialis. If you get the big set, it's got like 3 buildings, and it's just awesome. Just a ton of terrain, just like an 8-foot table full of terrain, especially if you get those two combined, which I've actually seen for sale. I think it was being bid on, though. I'm not super big on that, because I just don't, I change so much what I want to do that I don't like to really commit to anything and then kind of have to follow up on it. So I'm going to see if I can build more for the Planet Paradise. I have the Kill Team set Pariah Nexus, so I have that. So my idea is that the Paradise world will be kind of on one plane, and it was kind of like this in the video, and then down at a lower plane down in the tomb would be the Pariah Nexus Kill Team terrain. So I have the Chronomancer built, and I want to build the Flayers next, so then I'll have what I need for that. I believe I haven't built the Space Marines yet, so that'll be pleasant thing to build. I have the book City of Death for that City of Death terrain. I was able to pick up the book. It's an old book. So I got all the rules for close quarters fighting within the city and everything, and it's really awesome. I just love reading those old books. I have Beyond the Veil, and then a bunch of newer books for the Pariah Nexus. I just picked up Pariah Nexus itself. I have Pariah, and then I have the one before Pariah. I can't remember what it's called. And then I also have the first book, Beyond the Veil, which is pretty old now. So I have enough inspiration to write a really good narrative story. So if you hang with me, we're going to do some cool stuff in Sector Nihilus. Okay, and then there's the Nockmund Gauntlet. So I have the terrain for Nockmund. I have pieced it together from cheap boxes for STC sets. Like I got a cheap hab bunker and those gates and stuff. The only thing I don't, well, I have the fences. I don't have the gates. The gates is the only thing in the Nockmund terrain set that I don't have. And I also have the landing pad, and I have the box antenna, and the other piece I can't remember the name of, the tall thing that I had to modify so it didn't fall over. I have the narrative books, Wars of Faith, and then 2 Warzone Nockmund books to inspire me when I write a narrative for this thing. and there's lots of races involved. There's Drakari, which you can pick up cheap combat patrols for. There's Chaos involved. There's nuns with guns involved. There's Space Marines involved. It's just, there's a ton of different, there's Mechanicus involved in the actual gauntlet itself with some Space Marines trying to take over a dark Mechanicus planet, but that's not going well. My idea for the new 40K set would be to release Chaos. And then not versus Astartes, but maybe Dark Angels or something like that. I feel like we've done enough Stormcast and we've done enough Space Marines where, Astartes anyways, where it's time to do something else. So I feel like Chaos versus Dark Angels would be a good set to get people involved. I need a lot more Chaos in my life, definitely, and I feel like this is really the time for this thing now with the return of Lionel Johnson. I feel like we could take our time with the Tyranids since they move by gravity. I'm definitely piecing together terrain. I love that video that they released for the Leviathan set, so I'm definitely going to do a big narrative for Leviathan. I'm also building Tyranids from the Ultimate Starter Kit, and I got Tyranids from the Combat Patrol to build, so I'll be making lots of videos about building those minis and painting them. I'm really excited about that. There's the Charodon sector, maybe Adepta Mechanicus versus an expanded Death Guard. So after I'm done with my Egra world near Ultramar narrative, maybe I could expand the Death Guard to be something like there, and then maybe get into Adeptus Mechanicus, so that would be exciting. I'm not sure what I do for terrain for that, so although I love collecting old terrain, I kind of got a use for all the terrain I can think of unless they come up with something new. I think there's actually Adepta Mechanicus sets and some cool stuff, so maybe something like that in the Charodon sector is what I'll do. But I also want to start building my own terrain and looking more into 3D printed stuff. I've done like some plants and those little Tyranid things that are coming up out of the ground like this that they just showed in their new set, like the exact same ones I have that they just showed in their White Dwarf magazine, so that's cool. I'm glad to see that they're putting some terrain that I don't know is theirs, into their photographs. There's also the Phoenix Rising book, Eldar versus Slaanesh, that I could get into. There's Engine War, Faith and Fury books, and there's a bunch more books in that series that are narrative play. So lots of fun stuff that I can do. I have my Chalnath kill team. So Nuns versus Tau I can expand. I'm really loving the Kroot. I wish they would do more with the Kroot. That's really, really a cool race. So I have Into the Dark terrain and board. That involves the Kroot. So there's a Kroot kill team that I could get involved with. And then I also have the board for that. I have sorry, this got kind of mixed up. I picked up the Deathworld Forest Classic Terrain set and have it mostly built and painted. And I have the terrain board for that. So I want to create that kill zone. And I have the kill zone book. I'm maybe looking into jungle fighters versus somebody or other on that kill zone, and then also building the other kill zones. So between AOS, 40K, WarCry, Kill Team, and Fantasy, we're going to have lots of fun on this channel. So please subscribe. I'm around 400. I will also make 5 videos for the rule books that I have. I only have the Soul Wars as far as the Black Library, so that's area I can expand into. But I'm definitely really doing a thing big with rule books because I wanted to inspire me writing narrative play. So I'll make videos, separate 5 videos, one for AOS, one for 40K, one for Fantasy, Old World, one for Kill Team, and one for WarCry. So that's about it. If you're still with my video, that's pretty long. I got lots of exciting places I'm going. I'm certainly looking for any advice. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, how to get involved, like the cheap way to get involved, because I am super, super cheap. I like buying like models for like $1 or $1.50. I'm really into that. Buying at a bargain price. So if you want to know how I did any of that stuff, got involved with that, I will certainly answer any questions that you put in there. If you have any comments, any suggestions, I would sure appreciate it. And please subscribe and like my video. Thank you guys. Have a good day, Warhammers. Bye now.